keep it simple, man.
Yeah,
Just be real.
yeah. And you said keep it real. I think you got to start a show called Keep It Real, hosted by OG. I don't know.
I
That
know,
that just
right?
that just that just flows real nice.
I like that, right? There you
I
go.
like it.
I know a podcast guy, but
Welcome back to another episode of Stay Tranquilo. Today we have a legend in Miami and long overdue on coming on the podcast. But before we start, Orly and I have been trying to do this for a long time, and I'm happy that it's happening here in the new studio because it feels like it's home. Before, when we were going to record, it wasn't going to be home. So thank you, Orly Garcia, aka OG, for coming on today.
thank you, brother. Great to be here. Beautiful facility. Glad to be here, and let's get going, man.
Yeah, and we're gonna get into a little bit of your story, obviously, with your work at Amerant Bank and everything that you're doing there, and the growth of Amerant over the course of the years, especially in just the sports space, which we're gonna touch on because you work in the Department of Sports for Amerant. But I want to know more than just Orly at Amerant. I want to know Orly the person, right? OG. Who is OG?
Who is OG? Well, I guess it depends on who you ask, right? Man, I'm just a guy that likes to help people. Love to build relationships. You know, I'm a father of two. My kids are old. My daughter just started law school. Really proud of her at FIU.
Let's go. Pause up.
There you go. She graduated from FIU and back to law school. And my son's 35, married, doing great. You know, it's all about, man. The older you get, you realize everything in life is all about helping others and relationships. So my weekends are just chill at home, and honestly, I'm on the phone the whole time with athletes calling me for banking or sometimes just to be like a shrink, right? Hey, OG, I have this issue. What do you think? And I become like sort of like their dad, right? Because I am at that age. But that's it, man. I just keep it real. Love my Dolphins, right? Love my Canes. And, you know, all the local teams except for the Yankees. I am a Yankee fan.
Are you really? I didn't know that.
Well, we didn't have the Marlins back in the day when I
Yeah.
was growing up. I do love the Marlins. It's 1A and 1B, but I am a Yankee fan, and then the Marlins are second. So for me, it's just, you know, my family and sports. I mean, that's it. I keep it simple. I'm a very simple guy.
You are, and we've gotten to know each other over the course of the last couple of years, and I think there's no doubt in my mind, you know, from just getting to know you that you do everything to always help people, and I think everybody could say that about you. I've seen the reactions of the people that you're always around, and you know, just you interacting with us, you've always been extremely helpful for us. So I can definitely see it, and you walk and breathe that every single day. Where do you think that comes from? All right, obviously, we always say we got to preach kindness and we got to, you know, do our part to be that person. But where does that come from for you?
You know, I think everything starts with your upbringing, right? So I was born in Cuba. I got here a little over a year when I was a year and a half old. My parents didn't have anything like most of us, you know, Cubans and immigrants that come into this country. And, you know, I just saw my dad's work ethic and my mom's work ethic. You know, we lived in Chicago for like 7 years, and they would plow snow. And I remember, you know, them getting up at 3 in the morning. And at a young age, you realize how fortunate you are, right? You know, to be in this country and to have the opportunity to give back. So the older I got, Dre, I just, you know, started thinking, what can I do to make a difference, right? And, you know, getting into this sports realm and this whole life, which is, I'm living my dream, right? Like, I'm making a living helping athletes overcome their financial, you know, burdens or whatnot, or buying a business. But it all started when I was young, seeing the work ethic that my parents had. And I'm like, I need to do something to make them proud. It took until I turned 50 to do this, which is crazy, which is another thing, right? People are like, oh my God, you know, you're in your 30s and you think your life is over. No, look, my life just began.
Yeah.
And I'm in my mid 50s now, and I'm living my dream. It took this long, a lot of journeys, a lot of people you have to meet along the way, and a lot of people that helped me to get to where I am today. But that's what it's all about, man. At the end of the day, giving back in a genuine way.
Yeah.
I love that.
I think you bring up something interesting, right? We live in this society of like instant gratification, right? Where we want everything and we want it now, all right?
Yeah.
But, you know, you're a perfect testament to it. And there's a lot of stories that are testaments to that, right? Where, you're grinding in your 20s, you're grinding in your 30s, you're grinding in your 40s, and it's like you never really feel like you're getting to quote unquote where you want to be. And I think you're going to always live in that chase. But for
Yeah.
you to, look back at the course of your life and, where you're at now, to be able to say that, you're living your dream is a testament to just like the journey that you
Yeah.
had to walk. Talk to me a little bit about like that course of that journey, right? Because you obviously want to enjoy the process of your life and you want to enjoy every day to the fullest, right? There's the concept of like the power of now, and the
Of
power of
course.
now is like about enjoying today and this moment here right now. We're sitting on this podcast, like nothing else matters but this
Of course.
conversation here and now. But how did you, you say you're living your dream now, but over the course of the last 20, 30 years, how was that life for you?
Yeah, it's crazy. Again, I've always been an avid sports guy,
Yeah.
right? Big football guy. Love, been going to Dolphin games since I was 11 years old. My mom is 84. She's still a huge fan. And I got into mortgages and banking, and I remember I had an NFL player I met. I have to share the story because that changed my life. I could say his name, Henry Crockett. He's actually the president of the Orange Bowl Committee. Henry, my God, I was at Wachovia, loan officer. This is like 20 years ago. He came to me for a loan for a mortgage, and his first place that he wanted to buy for himself and his mom, he couldn't qualify for various reasons. And I remember sitting down with him and writing down a path for his journey if he needed to get approved in a couple months. I go do this, this, and this. And man, to his credit, he came back 6 months later, sat down with me, and we got him his mortgage. And that right there, I kept in the back of my mind, like, I know that I could make a difference. Now, did I know that 20 some odd years later, I would be working with athletes almost exclusively and helping them?
Yeah.
No. But I go back to that day, my first time meeting a football player. I was like awestruck, like, oh my God, I can't believe I met. He was with the Vikings at the time, and I'm like dying. And he did go to FSU. He's a no. So became a good friend of mine. He does a lot in the community, but just the journey through those years. Every time I ran a lot of mortgage divisions. I came here to Amerant to help build our mortgage division, but I always go back to anytime you help someone, you're changing their life. They're buying a home. That's the biggest thing that you could do in your lifetime. And kept thinking about Henry and how important it was to him. In fact, he got nominated, or he got put in the Broward County Hall of Fame years ago. And one of the first people he thanked was me for getting him that mortgage.
Wow.
And it brought me to tears, and I'm like, my God, I didn't do it for that reason. But
Yeah.
the journey, man, you just start realizing that you can make an impact in whatever you do. For me, it was that, and then I was blessed to be able to get in the inner circle of helping athletes, and I would have never thought that, the age of 55, that I would start a career helping guys like Henry Crockett. There's so many Henry Crockett's out there that people haven't given them the opportunity, right?
Yeah.
It would have been, no, you don't qualify, see you, go on. But I
True.
took the time, and to see how joyful he was and his mom to get into that place. So for me, the journey, man, it's always been about how can I help? It's genuinely, how can I help?
Yeah.
And help these guys overcome whatever adversity that they have. And
It's a full circle
it's
moment.
full circle. And then,
Full circle
having
moment.
Amerant supporting that, right? You're only as good as, the organization you work for. I could bring in all these athletes and bring in whatever, but, I'm lucky I have that big A right behind me,
Yeah.
right? And Jerry and the team supporting me, and that for me has been something that I'll never forget.
Yeah. Oh, it is crazy how that moment, subconsciously almost shifted like the course of not only your career but your life.
Yeah, it's almost like you put it out there in the universe, right? I didn't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't
In that
know.
moment, you have no idea.
No idea. But thinking about it, that moment right there changed my life.
Yeah, yeah. And now, you touch on this concept of where you're at now in your life with Amerant. Talk to me a little bit about like this now current part of your life, right? Obviously, you're talking about some names, beforehand, but being able to work with athletes, right? I mean, that's like you said, it's a dream, especially like as an avid sportsman, and being able to match that with a profession. Right? It's like everybody wants to achieve that, right? Like how do I attach what I enjoy as like a passion and be able to bridge it into a way where I can make money and make a living
An
off
honest
of it.
living. Yeah, and it's funny because people always ask me, my God, like, you're always out, you're doing these things, and it's fun.
It's true, you are everywhere.
I am everywhere, but look, it's a lot of work. And when you deal with professional athletes, as you can imagine, everybody wants a piece of them.
Yeah.
Everybody wants a piece. Their brother, their sister, their cousin, their girlfriends, you name it, bankers, every banker they meet, right? So for me, it's be authentic, man.
Yeah.
I would tell you, and I tell the young people, be yourself. I'm Orly,
Yeah.
OG now, like the guys call me, which
Yeah.
is pretty cool. And just be yourself and give advice. And I've been able to parlay that into an honest living, where these guys now trust me that,
Mm-hmm.
hey, you need banking, call Orly Garcia. He's going to do right by you. If it's something that we can't do or I can't do, I'll be the first to say, hey, Dre,
Yeah.
we can't help you, man. I know somebody else that maybe can
Right.
help you facilitate what you're looking for. So I think the journey also is about trust. I think trust for me is one of the most powerful things, in the world. You have to trust each other.
Mm-hmm.
The athlete has to trust me that I'm gonna do right by them, and I have to trust that the organization has my back. So when we do get these guys coming in, that we're gonna be able to deliver, right? I could say, hey, yeah, we could do all this, and then they come to Amerant and they're like, okay, now what?
Right.
So like you and I mean, we met. I remember when we met in the conference room.
Yeah.
I still remember like it were
Yeah.
yesterday.
Me too.
Like we're both like, I was new to this,
Mm-hmm.
you were new to this.
Yeah.
We're sitting there, what are we doing? I don't know. What are you gonna do? I don't know. And here we are a couple years later.
Yeah.
I'm here at this amazing facility. And again, I'm so proud of you guys.
Thank you.
I know all the hard work you've put in, and I'm here now also living my dream like you're living yours. But we talked about this 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And to see it, happen is amazing, right? So again, I think you got to put it out there, man, and put positive energy.
Yeah.
And people can see through BS.
100%.
BS. I always say I'm not a banker. I'm Orly. I work at Amerant, and I'm here to help you with your needs, whatever it could be, business banking, wealth advising, whatever. I'm going to help you, and I'm
Yeah.
going to guide you, and I'm going to get you to the right person that's going to help you with whatever your needs are.
Absolutely. And I think a big key word there is the trust, right?
Trust is everything, man.
How do you build that trust? I think I know the answer, but I want you to be able to, tell the audience, like, how is trust earned? How is trust gained? Because at the end of the day, people could see through the BS, but in that early stages, it's really easy to use that BS almost to your
yeah.
favor, right? So it's like, how do you build that trust early on, but also sustain that trust in the long term?
I think a big mistake that people in sales make is, hey, I'm Orly Garcia. I work with Amerant Bank. We have all these great products and services.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, there's a bank in every corner.
Right.
Right? I don't talk about that. I get to know the person,
Right.
the athlete, business owner. I get to know Dre, like, what do you need? What's your background?
Mm-hmm.
And I just build a relationship. I don't talk about banking.
Yeah.
I work at Amerant Bank. You know what I do for a living. How many times have I asked you to bring over your accounts? I don't. I never have.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We build a friendship. We build a trust. There's going to come a day you're going to be like, hey, my God, OG, I'm having issues with X bank. Bro, you've been good to me. Let's talk.
Yeah.
And I've been fortunate to just be real with these guys and gals, right? Just be authentic. Listen, this is what we do. If you ever need me, call me. But how can I help you? And let's go out, let's have a drink and build a rapport. And it's genuine. If they don't bank with me ever, I'm fine with that. For me, the relationship is the most important thing. And being authentic. Again, that's another word I use
Huge.
a lot.
Yeah. We talk
I'm
about that all
very
the time here,
authentic.
too.
Sometimes I'm too authentic, but I'm me, man. I'm Orly.
Mhm.
I'm going to be the same way here, tomorrow at a game, at home. I'm the same.
Yeah.
And I think guys could read that. And now I'm blessed that they call me and they're like, hey, listen, call my guy. He's going to take care of you. He's going to be honest. I'm not going to put you in a product or put you in a loan or in a money market account that doesn't fit your needs, right? I'm going to do what's right for you.
Right.
And at the end of the day, that goes such a long way.
Yeah. No,
Dre.
there's no doubt about it. And
It's all about
another big
trust.
word is like, and they go hand in hand, right? It's trust. But to build trust, you got to be authentic.
You got to be authentic.
That's the only way you're
We
going to really
make that
build.
mistake, especially again, younger people in sales.
Mhm.
I'm this, I'm that.
Right. You almost
no.
like, and I get it, because like you want to prove yourself, right? So it's like you almost got to like, it's not have this like chip on your shoulder, but it's like you want to prove that you belong, right? And sometimes by proving that you belong, you're doing a little bit of like manipulation and faking there, right? But at the end of the day, like just be who you are, because the relationship itself with that person is going to go way more than pretending to be someone that you're not.
100%. And that's why I've been successful, I think, because I just keep it real. You
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's busy, man. Everyone has things they're doing. And again, with the athletes, these guys, I've been out with them. They're stopped 100 times, given 100 million business cards.
Mm-hmm.
You know what they do with those cards? They chuck them.
Of course, yeah.
Right? They're going to chuck them,
Yeah.
right? But, again, if you build that rapport with them and they know that you're authentic and you genuinely want to help. And that's what it's all about for me, especially
For sure.
at this age. I don't have time anymore to
Yeah.
BS. I want to do right, and I want to build the legacy where, you know, I hate to say it, like, you know, 10 years, 15 years from now, they're like, oh my God, you know, Orly Garcia helped me overcome this, helped me build my wealth, you know, like with Henry Crockett, right? Something so simple.
Right. Look
Uh,
how
look,
much that
and I'll never
impacted
forget
both
that.
sides.
Both sides. I'll never
Hmm.
forget as long as I live. So, I mean, that's it. Keep it simple, man.
Yeah.
Just be real.
Yeah. And you said keep it real. I think you got to start a show called Keep It Real, hosted by OG. I don't know
I
that
know,
that just
right?
that just that just flows real nice.
I like that, right? There you
I
go.
like
I know a podcast guy, but
it. What's been the most, I guess, fulfilling part of working not only in the industry but working with athletes directly?
you know, it's funny. So you have this stigma, they're professional athletes, they're not approachable,
Hmm.
right? For me, that's
Yeah,
been the biggest thing.
that is the
Like,
stigma
oh
out
my
there.
God,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go meet, you know, whatever player, Tua.
Hmm.
Oh my God, no, or met this guy. Like,
Hmm.
they're regular dudes.
Yeah.
They're regular dudes just like you and I. They put their pants on the same way. You know, a lot of these guys actually want people to come up to them and talk to them because
Hmm.
people are intimidated.
Yeah.
You know, they want that. You know, they want a little kid to ask for their autograph.
Hmm.
And for me, that's been the coolest thing is getting to know them as men, as fathers,
Hmm.
as partners. I've been blessed to meet a lot of their children, their girlfriends, their wives, their parents. They're just regular guys. And for me, it was always like, oh my God, like, no way. You know, I got to be careful, walk on eggshells. No, you don't. They're normal human beings. They play football, they play basketball,
Right.
they play baseball. They were blessed with these athletic abilities. But at the end of the day, they're human beings like us right here.
Exactly.
So for me, that's been the coolest part, you know, obviously helping them with their financial needs. Because listen, we all know that finances is important, like stress, you know,
Of course.
we all know that, like, you know, but more than that is getting to know the guys and how real they are
Hmm.
and how vulnerable they are. Right? There's a lot of vulnerability there. When you
Ton.
get to know these guys, they open up to you like, "Hey, OG, papa, papa, I have this issue, I have that issue." I'm like, "You have that issue too?
Yeah.
Like me? Like for real?
Yeah.
You can't. You play for the Miami Dolphins or you play for the Detroit Lions.
Right.
Yeah, bro, I have the same issues." And that's
Hmm.
been for me the most rewarding to know that they're just there and they need help like you and I do, and they need somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
Many times I get a call, man, from athletes, nothing to do with banking. Hey, OG, what's going on, bro? Listen, can I ask your advice? You know, maybe because I'm old, all right? I'll take it as a
Hey,
compliment.
yeah.
But they'll call me and I'll be like, hey, man, I think give you my opinion as your friend. So
Hmm.
for me, that's been the most gratifying part, just getting to know them as men, as individuals.
Yeah, it is something that I think a lot of people don't realize, right? Like we we put these guys on the pedestal, which they belong up there, right? I mean, they work their butts off to get to the point of their career, and obviously, sports is every kid's dream when you're playing sports, right? So to make it to that point, and you're on the other side of it, you know, maybe as a fan or just a person that didn't make it there, you're gonna look at these guys and be like, damn, like they did it. But on the back end, on the everyday side of their life, they might be novices, right? When it comes to their financials or whatever it may be, they're gonna look for people like yourself, for experts that know that. They're gonna say, hey, I know you know, so can you help me? And that comes with a level of vulnerability.
Of
And I
course.
think everybody needs to realize, like, if you don't know what to do, it's okay to not know what to do, but it's about seeking the help and whatever that category is to be able to get that help when you need it.
And one thing I've noticed, and especially over the last couple years, these guys that are coming into the league now, when I say league, every league,
Right.
NBA, whatnot, they're more financially savvy than their predecessors,
Hmm.
right? These guys want to learn.
For sure.
Like they'll come in, they'll sit down with us. Hey, man, I want to learn about this investment, this thing in wealth, you know, small business loans. They're asking. They want to get better. They want
Hmm.
to do better. So for me, it's been also awesome watching how much they want to
Hmm.
know and grow, right? Look, when you're a professional athlete, to make it to that 1%, 2%, whatever it is,
Right.
your whole life people have been doing everything for you.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
In high school and college, now they're grown men and women, and they're like, okay, I don't have these guys anywhere to help me anymore is what I'm trying to say. And so I have a guy like Orly or whatever that I could trust, and that's been pretty cool. But these guys want to learn, man.
Yeah.
It's like
I
they're
think
they're
people, I look back, even with just like my parents, right? Like they weren't the most financial, literate, I guess you could say,
yeah,
right?
same.
Growing up. So, you learn from other people's mistakes, right? And it's like I'm not going to make those same mistakes. So what do I have to do today so I can set myself up in the future? And it comes with education,
Yeah.
right? Like
Knowledge is power.
100%. So I've done, my processes of like, and I mean, I haven't been great at maybe achieving some of the things that I would want to do, but that comes in the process of learning, right? Like certain things that you should be doing, right? It's about putting those processes in place with the intent of in the long term it paying off, right? And I think that's something that a lot of younger people are now more aware of, right?
Oh,
And with that
100%.
awareness comes actual application of these processes. I have a 17-year-old brother. He's asking me about a Roth IRA, you know? Like
I mean, what was an IRA when I was 17? I don't know what that
I
was.
had never even heard that term,
Yeah, you're
right?
thinking of other things when you're 17.
100%. But like that's just like that's how a lot of these young guys
No,
are
it's
thinking,
awesome.
because you see what happens in previous generations. You're like, I'm not going to make that mistake, right? You see the kind of the results of these type of things that happen in people's lives, and it's being able to become aware of like, hey, if they're doing that and it's incorrect, I know at the minimum I shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Now it's figuring out what do I need to do.
Yeah, and then these guys are looking forward, to making sure their kids have it better than them, right?
Exactly.
And anytime I talk to one of these athletes, they have kids, it's like, okay, OG, I want to set my kids up you know, for greatness later on. I don't
Right.
want them to learn like I learned, which is through, school of hard knocks, right? So, look, again, it's just about doing the right thing. But these guys are phenomenal and growing. And you and I are involved with some organizations that help educate these guys. And
Right.
we need more of those places out there, like the packs of the world and
Absolutely.
whatnot, because
Mhm.
they're opening up this whole environment where the guys could be vulnerable in a room
Mhm.
and talk about, hey, listen, I don't know what a 1099 is.
Right.
I don't know, what W-2, like, what is this?
Mhm.
And now, we're educating, right? And in a platform like yours, like here, getting the word out there so these guys could listen to it and learn. If we just touch one person, man, one athlete, one little girl that's playing soccer,
Mhm.
for the future, that for me that's everything.
Absolutely. So I actually want to kind of get into like your mind and kind of the recommendations that, on a high level, obviously every scenario is very different and everybody's got kind of a different situation. But on a high level, let's say you're a college athlete, you're making some NIL money, or, you're not even in sports and you're starting to make
Yeah.
money, you're 25 years old, you're starting to accumulate some funds. Like what does that process look like as far as like what people should be doing?
Yeah. So number one, I'm not a financial advisor,
I
so I
know.
want to make that
Yeah.
clear. But we do have an amazing wealth team and investment team at Amerant. One of the things is you get your hands on 500,000, 600,000, $1 million.
Mhm.
You're 16 years old. Normally, your parents would handle that,
Yeah.
take care of it. What I've noticed now is these kids are coming into the bank with the parent, but the student athlete is the one that's asking the questions. Okay, Orly, I have this money. What should I do? You have money markets, you have CDs, right? Which is great.
Mhm.
But I'm like, invest. So what we do is we get our wealth team involved. Andy Garganta runs our wealth team, amazing. I get one of his guys or gals, sit in front of the athlete. Okay, Dre, what are you looking for? Are you looking for short term, long term? Obviously, for these kids, it's going to be long term.
Of
You
course.
would hope,
Yeah.
not all the times, because sometimes the parents get involved. And they're like,
They want a piece of
they want a
kind of the
piece of
pie.
it, which that's for a whole. We
Yeah,
could
that's-
talk 3 hours about that. But for the most part, is okay. Listen, man, you're 17 years old. You have 500,000. How about you want to make that 500,000 into $1 million? Make that million into two. So we have abilities to facilitate that and give them guidance. Right? Here's what we see is happening in the market, and we recommend this is a good space for that, for you to have X amount of return.
Right.
And man, it's incredible how they really. You mean if I put this money into this vehicle, I'll get money back and make more? Yeah. So a lot of these guys in the past would, I'm going to buy a Ferrari, I'm going to buy this or that. They're getting more savvy. They're not doing that, right? They want to invest. So what we do is it all depends. Everyone's different. Some of them want to open up a business. Hey, listen, Orly, I want to open up a gym. Okay. Why?
Right.
So what I try to say is, there's a gym in every corner. What's going to be the difference between your gym and, an F45 or whatever gym that's out there? I'm like, so I try to talk to them also as friends, like, well,
Yeah.
maybe that's not something you really want to look at. maybe look at something else. So we get into that as well.
Yeah,
That's has
high
no,
level
high
recommendations.
level recommendation because
On paper you might think it's a great idea, but when you look at the back end of like the
it may
logistics
not
and you
work.
might be pulling a loan, this
You
might
really
not
want
be
to
the
get into the
safest thing
loan,
to
and
do.
normally they come back with something else. They're like, hey, okay, you're right, but I thought of this. Hey, this is great. Look, at the end of the day, you want to borrow money to do whatever. That's on you.
Right.
But I could tell you as your advisor friend, hey man,
Hmm.
in that area there's like 16 gyms. Why would you do that? And that's another thing. Going back to being honest, authentic.
Right, because you could just say,
I'm
hey,
not
I'll
gonna.
get you the
Hey, let
loan.
me take your
Yeah.
loan. Yeah, $2 million. Cool. Open a
Yeah.
gym. No, it's Dre. That's not good for you.
Hmm.
So, and again, they're gonna remember that. They're gonna go back and like, man, Orly gave me sound advice.
Right.
He wasn't just a banker that wants you to just get the accounts and open and do whatever.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. No, it's A1 advice, and I think a lot of people need that
you
behind
gotta be
them.
real.
Yeah.
Tell them the truth. It may
Exactly.
hurt, dude. You're no.
It might not be what you want to hear, but it's what you need to hear.
But I did tell you that this podcasting was gonna work out for you 2 years ago, though.
You did?
I did tell you.
You did? Still figuring it out, but
You're
we'll
okay.
move it
You're
along.
doing okay.
So talk to me, obviously you've been at Amerant and what's been kind of like what feels like a generational run for Amerant overall. Yeah, I think it's just been great. Obviously the exposure's been everywhere. And it's been piggybacked off of, a generational run with the Florida Panthers since you guys took over the stadium right over there. Talk to me about what the last couple of years at Amerant have been like.
Man, I could tell you it's been a whirlwind. All the credit goes to our chairman and CEO Jerry Plush. So
Mhm.
Jerry, Philadelphia guy, big sports guy. So when Jerry came down here 4 years ago, he's like, nobody knows who Amerant is. I didn't know who Amerant was. So I
Yeah.
had an Amerant branch in the corner of my house in Pembroke Pines, true story. And it just said Amerant, didn't say bank. I thought it was an insurance company. True story. Like I would pass by, I'm like, what is this Amerant?
Yeah, what is this?
I liked orange is my favorite color, so I
Oh,
didn't
look at
like
that.
that. So Jerry came in and he's like, look, we got to parlay sports into this. So we did a deal with University of Miami, which you know is done now. But he was using sports as a branding vehicle, and then the Miami Heat, obviously the official bank of that. So all that was great, and then this little team in the Sunrise, when we started working with them, they were okay. The Panthers. We did the helmet deal with, you saw Amerant on the helmet,
Mhm.
started with that, and next thing you know, logos everywhere. And, we got to name it Amerant Bank Arena, and Jerry loves to share it, and I do too, that we're the ones that brought them luck, right? The back-to-back Stanley Cup championships.
Timing's crazy.
It's Jerry's arena, right? Forget about Jerry's world with Dallas.
Yeah.
This is Jerry's babies, Jerry's house. Like Joe Rose always
Mhm.
mentions it on the radio, and man, it's been amazing. You know how many calls I get from people that are driving by 75 or Sawgrass, and they're like, "Hey, dude, I saw your arena. I saw your arena." Yeah, we got lucky, and looks like they're going to be good for a while. I mean, obviously Kachuk is hurt now, but they have depth, and I think this team is going to be good for a minute.
Yeah.
You have great ownership, the Violas, Matt Caldwell, the president. He's a good friend.
Hmm.
They just had good people running that organization,
Yeah.
and we got lucky. The Heat are down now. We'll see what happens. But at the end of the day, it's parlaying sports, which is
Right.
going back to your passion. Jerry's passion is banking. Obviously, he's amazing,
Mhm.
and sports. And we brought the two together. I mean, we're not that big of a bank,
Yeah.
and we're out there with competing with the big banks when it comes to exposure, and it's been amazing. Like I wear this honestly. Well, you can see the Amerant Bank Arena on the jersey, and then we do a lot of marketing out there. You see billboards everywhere. But again, this has all been Jerry and his mind. He's genius when it comes to marketing, and I've been able to write the coattails of what he built. So
Yeah.
he does all that high level stuff, and then I do the ground level stuff with the athletes. So.
Yeah. No, it's a
But
great,
it's been amazing.
great team effort, and yeah, I can only imagine how amazing it's been, and I think it's a testament, obviously, to Jerry seeing the vision. Sometimes you don't see what it really can become based off certain variables, like the Panthers obviously winning back-to-back Stanley Cup championships. But it's seeing that vision of like, hey, there's a massive opportunity in sports, and if we can immerse ourselves as a brand into the ecosystem,
That's
then
it.
like then you give yourself that potential to piggyback off certain
Oh
things
yeah,
like this
100%.
happening, which is amazing, right? I think people can take a book, take a page out of that book and say, hey, use sports as a catalyst, or use where there's opportunity and audience already, and just kind of immerse yourselves in there with the intent of driving business to you.
Yeah, whatever you're passionate. And again, he's the biggest sports fan I know besides me. I mean, Jerry loves it. And to get down here, coming in from Philadelphia, the Coral Gables with all these Latinos, and
Yeah,
like, what the heck am I doing?
yeah.
And to be able to just quickly pivot, I'm like, we got to get a name out there.
Mm-hmm.
And 4 years later, our name is out there. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
everyone knows Amerant Bank
Oh my
now.
God.
And we're not done.
I know.
And we're not done.
Yeah.
We're going to continue to grow, and, we're going to do things the right way.
Mm-hmm.
We were a community. We were the largest community bank. Now we just became a small regional. Once you hit 10 billion in assets, which we just surpassed.
Wow.
So now we're a regional. And again, it's all been Jerry and the team that he built. He's brought in a lot of good people. Definitely a lot smarter than I am, and we've been able to build a brand, and our reputation is impeccable. Right, we're gonna do right by people. We are, and I'm so proud. To work here. I really am.
Yeah, and you guys do a lot in the community as well.
We do. Like, we're always out there sponsoring events, doing
Mhm.
stuff. So I am going to make a plug. I have to. So I'm on the board for
Please.
Kennedy Kids.
Mm-hmm.
So Robert Bailey is the president of Rosenhaus Sports. His daughter, Kennedy, committed suicide a couple years ago at a young age, 16 or 17. And I'm on their board. I got to meet Robert, and I wanted to help. And immediately Jerry said, hey, how can we help? So we sponsor their 5K. It's coming up on September 14th, kennedykids.org. Guys, anyone that could help. It all goes back to mental health, so we could prevent kids like Kennedy to take their own life. And we're partnering up with Nicholas Children's Hospital. It's a lot of great things that we're doing there. And again, Amerant, when I spoke to Jerry, he's like, hey man, let's help. This is a great cause. So it's the Kennedy Kids 5K sponsored by Amerant Bank. Again, they just one of so many things giving
Right.
out in the community. Anytime we need to do anything, Habitat for Humanity, United Way, smaller organizations. I've done a lot with Alec Ingold, as you know.
Mhm.
Whatever we could do to help and make a difference, I can tell you, Jerry and team have never said no. It's about giving back, right? We're blessed, we're fortunate, and especially when it comes to children, for me, that's like near and dear to my heart. And I can tell you the company backs it. Like, we have this entire team led by Maria Olivera and our community development team, just there to support us and what we need out in the community. We don't just say it; we actually do it.
Yeah. No, you see it. You see
We
the
do it.
involvement.
We're out there.
Yeah.
I'm out there a lot, as you see, and
Mm-hmm.
man, there's times I'm tired, but we got to go volunteer. Pick up the beach or clean up whatever it
Right.
is. We're out there. Jerry's always at Habitat with Humanity and his helmet, nailing stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
how many chairmen and CEOs do that? Not many.
Not
So
many.
we walk the walk and talk the talk, and we're always out there. And that's not going to stop. That is so important to Amerant and to Jerry and the organization.
Yeah,
So
you see it, and I think that's a testament to the level of success too, right? I mean, you have to not be so stuck on just the success from like a revenue standpoint. It's like you said, you're blessed, right? Now, with that blessing, what do you do with that blessing? Like, God has facilitated that for you, and it's doing good with the good that you've received. It has to work both ways.
And Dre, real quick, one of the things that I haven't mentioned that
Yeah.
I think is another important thing is financial education. So for these athletes, we've been able to do a lot, like with Alec Ingold and his
Mhm.
foundation. We just had about 200 kids at Flanagan High School a couple months ago. We built this entire curriculum. Well, actually, Christy Amaro, that runs our education
Mhm.
department, she put together an amazing curriculum for these children along with her team.
Yeah.
We spent weekends and nights, working on this and helping these high school kids, how to write a check, how to read a credit report. We actually did mock interviews. So that's another thing that we're
awesome.
doing out there. We're going to continue to do that to help continue to educate, right? Because I didn't have that when I was growing up. Like, I didn't even know how to balance a checkbook.
Yeah.
I still don't, but that's a whole. I mean, online does it for me.
Yeah, yeah.
But we're doing a lot of that financial education out there to help kids and even athletes. I'm doing some stuff with the NFL now that I'm going to help with the local chapter and just educate guys. Again, going back to knowledge is power.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to tell you what's out there for you, and you take advantage of it however you want. But to get in front of these young kids, 200 of them, and you should have seen them how engaged they were and excited and asking questions. We're going to continue to do that here.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
important.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, shout out to you guys and everything that you guys have been able to accomplish, on the banking side and the sports side and the community side. We're huge fans of all the work you guys do, and we're excited for what's to come for you guys.
I'm excited. Happy for you guys. Amazing facility. Ready for football?
Yeah, we got to talk some ball.
Gotta talk
What
some-
what what are your thoughts going into this Dolphin season this year?
Well, I'm a homer, as you know.
Of course.
I have many clients that are players for the Dolphins, so I got to be careful what I say. Look, I do think honestly, if we stay healthy, obviously today we had a good pickup in our, with the defensive
Mhm.
back, Douglas. If we stay healthy and Tua stays healthy, we could compete with anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, you would like a little more depth on the offensive line. Again,
Yep.
talking like a fan.
Yeah.
Defensive backfield, but our linebackers and our D line is probably as good as any team I've seen ever with the
That front
Dolphins.
seven is
That front seven is disgusting
and
in a good
Judon
way.
picking him
And
up.
Junon just picking him up was crazy
Yeah.
in a good way.
Yeah.
And my good buddy T Dot, as I mentioned to you, and
Mhm.
all those guys there, and Brooks. I mean, we got a good team. We just we got to stay healthy. Again, I know every NFL team does that,
Of
says
course.
that, but
Yeah.
we may lack some depth in some areas. And in the offensive line, the same thing.
Yeah.
They're good when they're healthy. Brewer, he's a buddy of mine. I mean,
He's
I don't know if you
stud.
saw that pancake block.
Oh,
Brewer, if you're listening, dude, you nailed it. Like
that was a
he's
textbook block, bro.
and he's
Whew.
that talk about another guy that is amazing, smart, wants to learn all the time,
Mhm.
and so I'm not surprised. And we have a good team.
Yeah.
We just gotta stay healthy, man. I think if we do, we'll be right there with the Bills. I do believe so, but if we have injuries,
It can get dicey.
it could get dicey. We
Yeah.
need more depth. But look, we're getting younger, and I think the team finally realized that we need to
Yes,
get
for
younger.
sure.
We were paying for all these veteran free agents, and we know
Mhm.
what happened there.
Yeah.
Didn't pan out.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the organization is doing the right thing, having
Yeah.
to pivot and get younger, using the draft to build. You might have some heartache, right, because of what you might have to take a step back. But I think
Yeah.
ultimately they're doing the right thing
Mhm.
to set up this franchise for years to come. And then my Canes are playing this
Yeah.
weekend,
Big Notre Dame game.
Notre Dame game. So I'm
Mhm.
excited about that. That's going to be huge for Mario
Yeah.
to start out, with such a good team, right out of the gates. Notre Dame is ranked 6, I think. So they're ranked 6 and we're ranked 10th. I'll be there. I'll be rooting. I have friends of mine that played at Notre Dame. Sean
wow.
Wooden, are you listening? Hopefully we could talk some smack. But look, I'm just excited about football, man.
Yeah, no, me too.
No offense to baseball or anything
Of
else.
course not. Of course not.
I'm,
But
I
we all know that football is
football's
just,
king,
yeah, elite
especially
products.
here. So no, I'm excited. I think both teams, the Canes, again, my two favorite teams. I think they're gonna be good. I really do
Absolutely.
think. Again, it starts with the quarterback, Carson Beck on one end, and you got two on the other.
Yeah,
They stay upright and healthy, there's a chance. So
I like
how
it.
about those Knowles?
I mean, look, I think it's obviously, again, it always starts with the quarterback. Obviously, last year was a strange season for Florida State standards, coming off an undefeated season the
I
year
know.
before where they got burned, where they didn't make the college football playoffs. That year was the 14 playoff, but I think there was that like hangover effect. Plus, you lose your quarterback, and I think you just kind of didn't bounce back after you started losing really early in the season. So I think, it's kind of weird to see what happened last year. I don't expect a season like that again
No.
this year, but
They-
I don't expect them to be like a college football playoff team.
But
this
they've
year.
retooled. They're getting
But
better.
Castellanos is going to come in there. I think he fits the system really
does.
well there. Norvell likes a quarterback that can move, kind of like that multifaceted kind of guy. So I think in that regards, I think there's improvement there, and I think Castellanos could thrive
I
in
agree.
this type of system. But I think expectations like win 9 games.
That would be great.
I think that would be a huge step in the right direction for this program. Get some momentum again, showing like, hey, that was just an anomaly. We're not on the derail here at Florida State. So if they can keep it competitive all year, they start the season with Bama, which is a crazy game to
That's
kick
gonna
it
be
off
hard.
with.
Yeah.
But it's at Doak, so you never really
never
know.
know.
You never
You
really
never
know.
know.
Crowd there obviously is electric. If you can be in that game in the fourth quarter, God knows what happens.
Man, one turnover or
Exactly.
whatever, that's all it takes. Or what?
But I
I
think
hate Bama, so one of the rare times I'm going to root for
you're gonna
Florida
root for
State.
FSU. That's,
I can't stand Bama.
yeah, I feel you.
And I think the Gators are going to be improved. I think all
Gators,
Florida
yeah,
teams are going to be improved.
Well, yeah, we were talking about it. You got that's ranked already. You got UF, obviously, that's ranked already as well. You got FIU, who plays Penn State week 2.
I know.
And then you got USF, who plays Boise State week 1. I don't know who UCF plays week
I don't
1.
know.
I think I forget who they play. But you're talking if a couple upsets happen early on in the season, you might have 4 ranked Florida
I
teams
know.
to start the season.
And going back to Penn State, so Jerry.
Penn State, FIU would be a crazy upset, though.
Jerry, my CEO, Jerry, he's a big Penn State guy.
Is he? Oh, yeah, I guess.
Huge.
Yeah.
He's from Philly. Yeah, he
Yeah.
loves Penn State. So, John Carter, we're coming for you. Yeah. So, yeah, man.
I would be a banana upset.
That would be. Oh, I
Yeah,
would talk so much smack.
that would be insane.
That would be great.
That would be a highlight of one of my
Oh no, that would be amazing.
top wins of all
Oh
time.
yeah,
as
no,
a
that would
fan.
be amazing. It's gonna be hard, but again,
Hey, anything
gotta-
can happen.
and any- what is- any given Sunday?
every given Sunday, any given Saturday.
any given or Saturday. In
Yeah.
this, in this, well, even though the Canes are playing on Sunday,
They
which
are playing.
I keep saying Saturday, I keep forgetting it's Sunday night because we're off on Monday for Labor Day. But
Labor Day weekend.
yeah, I'm excited for football, man. I think we have great teams, and let's see, whatever. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's just as a fan watching it and
Absolutely, gonna root for your team no
root
matter
for your
what.
team. And for me now, knowing a lot of these guys and banking them and being friends with them, it's extra special
For sure.
because I get to watch them
Yeah.
also, not just the team. Like, yeah, man, look at Dre, look at that block. My God, amazing.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Right.
and, it's cool. Obviously, we grow up fans of teams, but being able to be fans of players and just rooting for
have
like
friends, yeah.
individual success for some of these guys because you know how hard they work and you've
Yeah,
built
look at
personal
our buddy
relationships.
Javon Holland, with the
Exactly.
Giants. I'm going to
Yeah.
be a Giants fan now, watching him.
100%.
Right. I would have never rooted for the Giants.
One of my best friends is a Giants fan, so I texted him and I'm like, if there's anyone I'm glad he went to, it's you guys.
Exactly.
You
So,
know?
rooting for Javon and
Yeah.
the Giants and seeing friends, right, that they go to other teams.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh,
So-
amen to that. Well, OG, it was a pleasure
Dre,
to
thank
have
you,
you
bro.
on.
Finally, we did it, my
We
man.
we got it done.
We
got
did
it done.
I'm so proud of you guys.
Thank you, bro.
Stay Tranquilo, amazing podcast guys and amazing people.
Thank you.
Love you like a brother. You're
Appreciate
amazing, bro.
it. Same here, bro. Same here. We're
Thank you.
excited for you guys, and we'll do it again soon.
Oh, for sure. You
We'll
can't
do it
get rid of
again
me that
soon.
easy.
Yeah, we got to run it back. Maybe middle of the season, we bring you on, talk
Yes.
some fins.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Anytime you want to talk football, I'm in, man.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
man. Well, thank you guys for
Thank
tuning
you.
in today. Thank you again, OG, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.